Hello and welcome back. We're going to conclude this month's series on the risen Christ by discussing the appearance of Christ to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. I mentioned in session 1 that restoration was a characteristic of the risen Christ. In this encounter, Jesus reaches very directly to Peter and restores their relationship that was damaged during the fearful moments of Jesus' arrest, suffering, and crucifixion. He publicly expresses his trust in Peter within the circle of the disciples by placing the care of his church into his hands. To see the full picture, we must remember the conversation between Jesus and Peter at the Last Supper, when Peter declares his desire to go wherever the Lord goes, even to die with him. Jesus contradicts Peter openly and publicly describes Peter's denial and abandonment of him in the next hours. Let's read the actual Bible verses so we can get a better sense of how shocking Jesus' reply must have been to Peter. In John 13, we can read the following: "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus answered him, "Where I am going you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterward." Peter said to him, "Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake." Jesus answered him, "Will you lay down your life for my sake? Most assuredly I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times." In all 4 Gospels, Peter's subsequent denial of Christ is reported. In the Synoptic Gospels, namely Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Peter is described as having wept bitterly in personal disappointment over his actions. In the 21st chapter of John, we find his testimony of a unique encounter and conversation between Jesus and Peter at the seaside after Jesus' resurrection. Specifically, Peter and 6 of the disciples have returned to their fishing boats. Is this in itself significant? Have they returned to their old life? Jesus appears to them in the morning after they have fished all night without success and tells them to cast their nets on the other side of the boat. They all seem to know that this is the Lord, but nobody wants to acknowledge it openly. Miraculously, the disciples catch 153 fish, but their nets don't break. Then John says, "It is the Lord." Peter plunges into the sea to meet him, and the remaining disciples take the boat. It's fairly evident at that point that Peter is eager to be with the Lord again. The Lord speaks directly and publicly to Peter with the disciples as witnesses. It is interesting to note that Christ does not remind Peter of his moments of weakness, nor does he demand an accounting. He doesn't say, "I told you so." Rather, he asks him 3 times, "Do you love me?" Peter had denied him 3 times, and now the Lord requires Peter to affirm his love for Christ 3 times. Each time that Peter says, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you," Jesus responds with a different command. First, feed my lambs. Second, tend my sheep. And finally, feed my sheep. These are all pastoral references meant to give Peter a sense of his future ministry. The Lord intentionally reaches out to Peter and restores his place in the group of disciples. Most importantly, he reestablishes trust in Peter's leadership. I hope Peter's experience can give you a similar hope and eagerness to reach out to the Lord. Even when you've sinned and denied the Lord, he makes it known to you and to others that there's still a hope and a future for you. By looking at the different witnesses to Jesus' resurrection in this past month, the same themes make themselves evident. Jesus forgave past transgressions and restored an active, living hope in people. This hope turned people's perspectives around about his departure from the earth. They understood the reason why Jesus had to suffer and die the way he did. For many, the realization came because of a personal encounter with Christ. And in this personal encounter, they were given instructions to take action and continue the work that Christ began on earth. Let us take this opportunity now to think about what this means for us. Now that Christ is risen, what does he expect of you? Everyone has been given a unique task. Now let us understand our task and fulfill our calling.